My dear brothers and sisters in the risen Lord, ordinary season, week 6, day Saturday, Moses and Elijah were servants, but Jesus is son. Since John Chrysostom, in his sermon on the transfiguration of Jesus, had given various reasons for the appearing of Moses and Elijah at his transfiguration. He said, there are many reasons why Moses and Elijah should appear. The first is this: because the multitude said Jesus was Elijah or Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Jesus here brings with him the chief of the prophets, that hence at least may be seen the difference between the servants and their Lord. The second reason is this: because the Jews were ever charging Jesus with being a transgressor of the law and blasphemer and usurping to himself the glory of the Father, that he might prove himself guiltless of both charges. He brings toward those who were eminent in both particulars: Moses, who gave the law, and Elijah, who was zealous for the glory of God. The third reason is this: that they might learn that he has the power of life and death by producing Moses, who was dead, and Elijah, who had not yet experienced death. The fourth reason also the evangelist discovers, that he might show the glory of his cross and thus soothe Peter and the other disciples who were fearing his death, for they talked, as another evangelist declares, of his death which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. The fifth reason is this: wherefore he brings forward those who had exposed themselves to death for God's pleasure and for the people they believed. For both had willingly stood before tyrants, Moses before Pharaoh, Elijah before Agab, and lastly also he brings them forward that the disciples should emulate their privileges and be meek as Moses and zealous as Elijah. In today's gospel, Jesus was transfigured on the mountain. Traditionally, the mountain is taken at Mount Tabor. If Jesus was transfigured at Mount Tabor, then the ancient prophecy of God was fulfilled. You created the north and the south. Tabor and Hermon sing for joy at your name. Psalm 89, verse 12. During Jesus' transfiguration, there were three heavenly visitors. They were: first, Moses. He was the greatest prophet and lawgiver. He had many similarities with Jesus. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights like Jesus and performed many miracles. He was instrumental in the giving of the 10 commandments to the old Israel, as Jesus gave 2 golden commandments of love to the new Israel. There was something mysterious about Jesus' death. He died a lonely death on the mountain Nebo, but no man knows to this day where he was buried. Possibly he was preserved from corruption and reserved for his appearance. Now he appeared to Jesus speaking about his death. Moses' face was shining. when he came down from Mount Sinai after receiving the tablets of the covenant at the face of Jesus during his transfiguration. Moses is a great liberator, but Jesus is the greatest redeemer. To Elijah, he was an eminent prophet. He too fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and did many miracles. Even his death, nay, his departure was mysterious. He did not die, rather was taken alive in a chariot of fire to heaven. There was a prophecy made and lingering hope among the Israelites that he would come again, and now he appeared. These two prophets came to bear testimony to Jesus, as there were three witnesses on earth, Peter, James, and John. So there were two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, from heaven to bear witness to him. In Jesus, the heaven and the earth are joined together. Third, the heavenly voice. God the Father made his presence amidst the bright cloud which overshadowed the disciples. The cloud is the visible token of God's presence. He came down on Mount Sinai in a cloud, Exodus 19:9. And so Moses, Exodus 34:5, he took possession of the tabernacle in a cloud and afterwards of the temple. Now the tabernacle and the temple are where Jesus is, and therefore the cloud descended upon Mount Tabor. God spoke through the heavenly voice, "This is my well-beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." This is the same voice which he spoke from heaven at Jesus' baptism. Moses and Elijah were servants, but Jesus is the Son. In him, God has reconciled the world. May God bless you all.